Sakshi roll number is 13. Nidhi ka 46.
Yes, ma'am.
Is my screen visible?
13, 46 or
12.
Now you can start.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. This is Nidhi from BBA first year second sem. Today, me, Sakshi, and Rosni are going to present our topic, Introduction of Organization Behavior. So first, we will see about the definition of organization behavior. Then we will go with discipline of organization behavior. This topic will be introduced by me, and the remaining topics will be discussed by my team member Sakshi Rosni. So let's start with the definition of organization behavior. There are two words in organization behavior: organization and behavior. Organization is a group of people who are collected to work for a common goal with collective efforts, whereas behavior is verbal or physical response shown by a person as a sequence of the impact of his or her surroundings. Now, what is organization behavior? It is field of a study that investigate the impact that individuals, groups, and the structure have on behavior within organization. Now we will see about discipline of organization behavior. First, psychology. It is a science that seeks to measure, explain, and sometimes change the behavior of humans. Domain of organization behavior inherited from psychology are: first, learning, how individual learn in an organization and how group learn in an organization. Second one is motivation, how employees get motivated in an organization. Third one is perception, what people think about others in an organization. Fourth one is personality, how individual personality and also can be measured in various ways. Fifth one is attitude, what the attitudes of person towards their job to and toward their work in an organization. Sixth one is job satisfaction, what's the overall job satisfaction of an employee within the organization. And last one is work stress, what's the stress management of an employee. And second one is sociology, it focuses on individual, while sociology studies people in relation to social environment and culture. Domain of organization behavior inherited from sociology are: first one is the organization culture. Organization culture is made up of shared values, beliefs, and assumptions about how people should behave and interact, how decisions should be made, and how work activity should be carried out. Second one is organization structure. Organization structure, we study various types of structure such as line structure, matrix structure. Third one is power and politics. Power and politics influenced in organizational behavior. Individual in an organization use their power to satisfy their common needs or get what they want. Organizational communication. Organizational communication includes internal communication such as employee training, modules, messaging around an organization mission, interpersonal communication between management and employees, and professional communication such as emails. Third one is anthropology. It studies the societies to learn about the behavior of human beings and their activities. Domain of organization behavior inherited from anthropology are: first one is cross-cultural analysis, analyzing or comparing one organization with others on the basis of merits and demerits. Second one is comparative values, the study of value. Third one is organization culture, the study of overall culture of an organization. Now, needs of organization behavior. First, a skill development to enhance the skill and knowledge of employees. Second one is understanding level of motivation and satisfaction of employee. Third one is help in increasing efficiency of the organization. Fourth one is organization behavior help in utilizing the resource to the optimum level. And the last fifth one is it helps in predicting behavior of groups and individuals. Overall, it improves goodwill of the organization. Thank you very much. Now over to you, Rosni.
Importance of organization behavior. Create sustainable competitive advantages. Everyone knows that the voice of Lata Mangeshkar is very melodious. It is valuable, rare, and difficult to find. Hence, she has been having a little or no competition for long, and no one could substitute her. Organization behavior converts people in an organization into valuable, rare, inimitable, and non-substitutable through various organization behavior practices aligned to achieve goals. For example, organization behavior can create a culture of aligned to achieve goals. For for example, organization behavior can create culture of innovation, performance, knowledge sharing, and trust through a combination of individual development, team design, and leadership development. Second one, individual component. Identify and underlying reason for poor or non-performance and enable change. Help a person to modify his or her behavior to achieve full potential by identifying what motivates a person, how the person can learn, be more creative, and manage stress. In other words, organization behavior can facilitate taking a whole action required for the person to contribute to competitiveness. Third one, group group and team component. A company had created two teams simultaneously to develop a new product. The vice president product development had done so to create internal competition and speed up the product development to beat the competition. Fourth one, organizational component. Organizational behavior helps to design, structuring, and changing culture to create a learning and innovative organization. It suggests ways to implant an organizational subculture within the overall culture. Fifth one, leadership component. Here, knowledge of leadership style of his team and understanding of the method to change the behavior of people help to create the winning culture. Leading organization through crisis and create transformation as our strong contribution to OB. External forces component. Southwest Airline, the low-cost airline in US, is widely known for the innovative and fun-loving working environment. In fact, having a fun-loving nature was the first requirement to get a job in the company. Management actually sponsored its union and encouraged them in negotiate even wages. But guess what the result was? The company recorded quarter after quarter profit, even though every other low cost airline was making the loss. Now the models of behavior, organization behavior. First is autocratic model. The basis of this model is power with the managerial orientation of authority. The employees in turns are oriented towards obedience and dependence on the boss. It was it was started in the period of industrial revolution. It gives the owner and manager the power to dictate and form the decision while making employee obey their orders. Command comes from the top to the bottom. Employee receive less wages as they are less skilled, and their performance is also minimum, as well as wages is also minimum as they satisfy the needs of their family and themselves. Now, second one is custodial model. It it is the reward-based model, and the basis of this model is economic resources with a managerial orientation of money. The employees in turns are towards security and benefits and dependence on the organization. The employees and the employee needs that is to meet their security. Here manager begins to think about the security of the employee. Ma- Employees Manager started to develop better relationship with the employee and keep them satisfied and motivated. Now the supportive model. The basis of this model is leadership with the managerial orientation of support. The employees in turns are oriented towards job performance and participation. The employee needs that is to meet their status and recognition. The performance result a vacant derived. It it is simply based on motivating staff through the establishment of the manager and employee relationship, and treated that is given to employee on the daily basis. Create a positive workplace to keep the employee self motivated. The classic example the classic example is Hawthorne experiment, which conclude that organization is a social system where workers are important element of the system. Um, Now the collegial model. The basis of this model is partnership with the managerial orientation of teamwork. The employees in turns are oriented towards responsibility, behavior, and self-discipline. The employee needs that is to meet self actualization. It in this model there is no boss, no not subordinate, but all the colleague who have to work in a team. Now the system model. It is the most emerging model to today employees needs more than salary and security from their job. They needs the hour they are putting towards the organization is giving them some values and money. The manager have to show their emotional side, be be more compassionate and caring towards their team. They must be sensitive towards the needs of the employee. This ultimately result in long time committing and the loyalty of the employee and success of the company. Now my friend Sakshi is to continue the further presentation.
Good evening. Due to dynamic business environment, OB is facing many challenges, which are globalization. Business operations are no longer restricted to a particular locality or region. Globalization possesses numerous challenges in front of an organization at different level. At individual level, an employee may require to work on foreign assignment and collaborate with people of different culture. At group level and organizational level, problem may arise in decision-making procedures and in case of merger or acquisition due to vast cultural differences. Management of workforce diversity. It is difficult to manage the employee belonging to different cultural background due to difference in their values, beliefs, attitude, and behavior. A proper management of workforce diversity results to the availability of fresh ideas and talent. Incorporation of work-life balance. Work-life balance can be achieved by implementing the concepts like work from home, flexible working hours, etc. Incorporation of innovation. It is necessary to incorporate change in rules, regulations, procedures of the organization to suit the current standards. It is easy to formulate rule, but it is hard to implement them because of employees' resistance. Improvement in quality and productivity. It refers to matching the level of quality and productivity with the ever-changing demand. Nowadays, a number of programs such as process re-engineering and quality management are being implemented to bring improvement in productivity, improvement in people skill. It is important to train, develop, and upgrade skills of employee according to the new trend. The technical and interpersonal skill of an employee need constant improvement. Now, let's take a glance on limitations of OB. Behavioral bias. It is a condition that is a reflection of tunnel vision, in which people have narrow viewpoint as if they are looking through a tunnel, which lead them to develop a narrow viewpoint that emphasizes employee satisfaction while overlooking broader system of organization about all its stakeholders. It further causes dependency, discontentment, indiscipline, and irresponsibilities. The law of diminishing return. According to the law of diminishing returns, at some point, increase of a desirable practice produce declining result, finally resulting in zero returns, and then follows negative returns as more increases are added. More of good things is not necessarily good. The concept means that for any situation, there is an optimum level of a desirable practice, such as recognition or participation. Unethical manipulation of people. A significant concern about organizational behavior is that its knowledge and techniques of motivation and communication acquired can be used to exploit subordinates in an organization by manipulative managers. People who lack ethical values could use it in an unethical way. I will conclude it with OB is a field of study that investigates the impact that individual group and structure have on behavior within the organization. The philosophy of organizational behavior is supportive and oriented towards human resources. However, the knowledge and the techniques of the subject may be used in negative and positive way. We must be cautious so that what is known about people is not being used to manipulate them. Thank you.
Any suggestion want to give to your friend? इन तीनों के लिए कोई suggestion for further improvement?
No, ma'am, that's the best presentation.
अभी best कैसे आप बोल सकते हैं? अभी तो पहला presentation हुआ ही है. Best कब होगा? जब दूसरे से compare करेंगे तब ना.
नहीं, बिना compare किए ही बोल रहा, मतलब इन लोगों का अच्छा रहा वो बोले.
The best is the superlative degree. Come on, Pratyay. First of all, turn on your camera. कैमरा कैसे सब लोग ऑफ करके बैठे हैं? बहुत कम का कैमरा ऑन है. प्रेजेंटेशन है तो कैमरा ऑफ रखना है क्या? Any more suggestion I am telling?
Yes, ma'am. May I? मैम जो रोशनी का प्रेजेंट करने का तरीका था वो मे भी और अच्छा हो सकता था. उसका कभी कभी फील आ रहा था जैसे वो रीड आउट कर रही है, तो वो उसको इम्प्रूव कर सकती है.
अग्री. इसमें थोड़ा एक्सप्रेशन चाहिए था. अगर निधि के बारे में बात करूं, और किसी का कोई सजेशन है? मतलब एक ही फ्रेंड है आप लोगों की, निधि और रोशनी, और एक और कौन है?
साक्षी.
साक्षी. अच्छा, साक्षी का रोल नंबर 13 ना? तो निधि के बारे में अगर मैं बात करूं तो निधि आप में प्रोफेशनलिज्म बढ़िया है. द वे यू वर प्रेजेंटिंग द, लेकिन हाँ पेस पे वर्क करना हो. आवाज में बोल्डनेस था, ठीक है, कॉन्फिडेंस लग रहा था, लेकिन पेस बहुत ज्यादा था, स्पीड बहुत ज्यादा था. इतना जल्दी 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 फर्राटेदार लग रहा था, बोल करके आप निकल ही लेंगे आप, है ना. तो थोड़ा पेस पे एकदम आराम से प्रेजेंटेशन होना चाहिए, ठीक है. एक एक वर्ड क्लियर होना चाहिए. और रोशनी बात सही बोला जा रहा है कि बहुत रीडिंग लग रहा था, ठीक है. थोड़ा प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं ना, तो प्रेजेंटेशन स्किल होना चाहिए. व्हेन यू आर प्रेजेंटिंग देयर शुड बी एक्सप्रेशन. ऐसा लग रहा था कि हाँ एक सामने में आप खोल लिया और बस रीड आउट कर रहे हैं. तो अगर आप मैं ऐसे आपसे पूछूं जो सिस्टम मॉडल है, कैन यू एक्सप्लेन व्हाट इज सिस्टम मॉडल? रोशनी. समझे क्या है आप? रोशनी, you are there?
Yes, ma'am.
Turn on your camera. What is system model?
मैम ये बहुत इमर्जिंग मॉडल है. इसमें मैम एम्प्लॉय को सैलरी और सिक्योरिटी तो मिलती है उस मतलब ये मतलब आज के जमाने का मॉडल है कि मतलब दो सैलरी भी मिल रही है, सिक्योरिटी भी मिल रही है और मतलब मोटिवेशन मतलब सब कुछ मिल रहा है एम्प्लॉय को और मतलब एम्प्लॉय खुश भी है अपने मैनेजर से.
आप अपने वर्ड में अगर ये बोलते तो ज्यादा बेटर लगता.
यस मैम.
अभी आप एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं, वैसे अगर आप एक्सप्रेस करते तो थोड़ा ज्यादा बेटर लगता है ना.
यस मैम.
तो ये सब चीज चेक करना है आपको. और साक्षी का तो कैमरा ऑफ था, एक्सप्रेशन पे तो कुछ समझ में आया ही नहीं.
मैम शेयर कर रहे थे स्क्रीन तो
हाँ
कैमरा ऑन
बट
कैसे था?
ओके, तो वही ऑप्शन था नहीं तो ठीक से एक्सप्रेशन में देख नहीं पाए, बट जो प्रेजेंटेशन हुआ इट वाज गुड. ठीक है, तो निधि को बस पेस चेक करना है, आपको एक्सप्रेशन चेक करना है. साक्षी को मैं गुड ही बोलूंगी क्योंकि प्रॉपर जजमेंट हो ही नहीं पाया आपका. ठीक है, अब नेक्स्ट टीम पर्सनालिटी है ना.
यस मैम. मैम हमारे टीम के एक मेंबर कोमल कुमारी के कुछ इशू के कारण वो प्रेजेंट नहीं है मैम अभी. सो नेक्स्ट डे का हम लोग का प्लान है.
नेक्स्ट कौन है?
परसेप्शन का था मैम इसके बाद शायद.
परसेप्शन करिए, लेकिन प्लीज ये सब चीज थोड़ा चेक करिए.
मैम बट ऐसा मैम ऐसा हम
मैम
लोग कर सकते हैं कि मैम
कल का हम लोग का
मैम ऐसा हम लोग कर सकते हैं कि मैम मेरा इंट्रोडक्शन है, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट गौरव का है, नेक्स्ट श्रेयांश का है, हम लोग तीनों प्रेजेंटेशन दे दे. कल कोमल प्रेजेंटेशन दे ले मैम.
आपका है क्या, कौन सा टॉपिक है?
मैम
पर्सनालिटी.
पर्सनालिटी है.
तो वही मैं बोल रही थी कि ये थोड़ा केयरलेसनेस टाइप फील होता है कि आज मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन है, आज ही किसी मेंबर को कोई प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. आइदर यू शुड हैव इन्फॉर्म अर्लियर, है ना. यहाँ पे एकदम से क्लास शुरू हो रहा है, अब प्रेजेंटेशन देना है, अब फिर पता चलता है मेंबर गए. तो
मैम ऐसा हम लोग कर सकते हैं कि मैम अभी हम लोग दे दे और कोमल कल दे दे क्योंकि उसका मैम लास्ट टॉपिक.
कोमल को क्या प्रेजेंट करना है, कौन सा टॉपिक?
मैम कोमल का था मैम 5 बिग डायमेंशंस ऑफ पर्सनालिटी. मैम ओपननेस, एक्स्ट्रावर्जन, कंसिस्टेंटनेस जो वाला टॉपिक था वो उसका टॉपिक था मैम.
बस वो एक्सप्रेस करना है.
यस मैम, तो उसकी लास्ट टॉपिक थी तो वो मे भी कल मॉर्निंग में.
ठीक है, हाँ ये हो सकता है. ठीक है, ऐसे प्रेजेंटेशन का फ्लो भी नहीं टूटेगा. आप लोग प्रेजेंट कर लीजिए और टॉपिक है वो कल वो प्रेजेंट कर लेगी. बट आगे टीम मेंबर थोड़ा ये अवॉइड करिए ये चीज, क्या प्रेजेंटेशन देना है और इधर गायब हो गए. शेयर द स्क्रीन.
मैम गौरव विल शेयर द स्क्रीन. शेयर.
एक रोल नंबर 10 है और रोल नंबर 9 है और कौन है? 53 और
रोल नंबर 3 कोमल, बट अभी वो प्रेजेंट नहीं है.
ऑलराइट, कल सबसे पहले वही प्रेजेंट कर लेगी. ये खत्म होते होते ऑब्वियसली नेक्स्ट डे सुबह. टॉपिक में ब्रेक नहीं लगना चाहिए.
तो मैम स्टार्ट करें. Good evening to one and all present here. Firstly, I would like to thank Sneha ma'am for giving me this opportunity, and it's my pleasure to introduce myself and represent my team in front of you all. I'm Mahi Singh, representing with my team Gaurav Raj, Komal Kumari, and Shreyans Kumar. Today's topic for our presentation is personality. Before starting, there is a quote I want to say. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. Now come to the topic, what is personality? Personality. According to Gordon Alport says, personality is the dynamic organization within the individual of those psychophysical system that determine his unique adjustment to his environment. Personality is a pattern body of habits, traits, qualities, and ideas of an individual are those that are organized externally into roles and status, and they can relate internally to motivations, goals, and various aspects of selfhood. It is derived from the Latin word persona, which means to speak through. An individual's personality is the combination of traits and patterns that influence their behavior, thought, motivation, and emotion. It drives individuals to consistently think, feel, and behave in a specific way. It is what makes each individual unique. Now, come to the next slide. The slide is determinants of personality. As we all know that there are 5 determinants of personality. Number 1 is biological factor. Second one is cultural factor. Third, family factors. Fourth, social factors. And fifth one is situational factors. And I will discuss it all the factors one by one. So first one is biological factor. It is the parameter. It is the parameter that reflects various factors of one's personality. Some important constituents under biological factors are: number 1 is hereditary, second one is brain, and third one is physical feature. Hereditary. You can also see the images that one's personality can be molded by his genes. The heritage, the characteristics that one's usually inherited from his parents. Example, facial structure, height, ear, nose, eyes, and many other things. These factors are the hereditary approach. It is the evidence that genes located in chromosomes are the ultimate explanation of our personality. Brain. Brain also influences personality development. Mental abilities, sensory motor skills are also determined by our brain. Third one is physical feature. Physical appearance is among the integral determinants of our personality. Whether one is short, tall, slim, fat, black, or white will obviously have an impression on others. Cultural factors. Cultural factors. Just as we bond with biological factors, cultural factors of personality are the one with which we grow up. The rituals, the norms in the family, the way we are raised up, the social groups. In this way, the group in which we hang out are the factors that have the impactful emphasis on our personality formation. Each culture trains and expects its member to behave and breathe in the way that is acceptable in our society. Third one is family factor. Family factor. The environment at home blended with the direct influence of the parents is the major contributors to the trait that build our personality. It indicates the overall home environment created by our parents. Here is an example that a child brought up in a violent situation will be quite different and emotionally and socially timid and cold as compared to those healthy environment, adjusting environment, and a warm environment. The fourth point is a personality as per the status of the individual in their social group or community, and consider the individual's conception of their role in the group. Anyone's personality is majorly persuaded by his social lives they lead. Our social life is one of the essential determinants of our personality. That is why it is always advised to choose our social lives wisely, social circle wisely. And fifth one is situational factor. Situational factor. Situational factor, it would not be difficult for us to relate the fact that we as a human being react differently to distinct situations. Although it would not be correct to say that situational factor determines an individual personality in the most correct manner. but it surely reflects how a person's behavior is and how they react in a given situation. For example, you may behave differently in front of your boss in the office than at the club with your friend. So now I would like to invite my friend Gaurav Raj to continue the further.
Thank you, Mahim. Characteristics of personality. First one, locus of control. Second, self-efficacy. Third, self-esteem. Fourth, self-monitoring. Fifth, positive negative effect. Sixth, risk-taking. Seventh, type and type B personality. Locus of control. It may be defined as the degree to which people believe that they are the master of their own fate. He believes that he knows everything. There are two types of locus of control. A, internal locus of control, which implies that the degree to which an individual controls himself without others' assistance. In this case, individual believes that he controls his destinies. Here, the individual believes that his behavior determines many of the events in life. For example, individual with modernity strong internal locus of control is successful in his job, career, and lives. B. On the other hand, external locus of control may be defined as the degree to which an individual is controlled by the help of other people. In this case, individual believe that his life is controlled by outside force. Here, he believed that his behavior determines chance, luck, and fate. What happens to his is due to his luck or fate. For example, the individual with modernity strong external force focus of control may not be successful in his job, career, and lives. Second one, self-efficiency. Self-efficiency refers to a belief about one's own ability to deal with events and challenges. Self-efficiency is the belief we have in our own ability,
आशीष
efficiency, and
ऋषि
ability,
ध्यान दीजिए और ये
and the ability
रिवीजन
to.
क्लास
Yes,
है।
ma'am.
आप लोग का दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, ध्यान दीजिए, फोकस करिए, तभी आपका रिवीजन का टाइम बचेगा। कैमरा ऑन करके इसीलिए बैठाया जाता है। स्टार्ट गौरव।
Yes, ma'am. Self-efficacy is the belief we have in our own ability, specifically our ability fully. Self-esteem. It signifies the degree of love or dislike towards a particular object. If signifies the degree of liking and disliking towards a particular object, in simple terms, the extent to which an individual like or dislike himself. It differs from individual to individual. Some individuals may have high self-esteem and some have low esteem. The individual with high self-esteem believes the challenging job, but on the other hand, the individual with self-esteem depends on the receipt of the positive evaluation from others. Self-monitoring to adjust his behavior with respect to external situation. Ability of individual to adjust his behavior with respect to external situation. In simple sense, it is the sensible of an individual to adapt to the situation demand. A high self-monitoring individual challenges his behavior easily based on the situation requirement. then low self-monitoring individual. In this case, the behavior of the individual plays a virtual role from the organization point of view. Positive negative effect. Individual exhibit attitude about situation in a positive or negative fashion. Positive and negative people have unique personality that makes them who they are. There are many different types of personality traits, including some that are positive and some that are negative. Where you are looking to choose personality traits for characteristics in the stories you are writing, or you are simply looks to find the right to describe aspect of your personality, or someone else you will find what you are in search of there. Risk taking. If refers to personality to take risks, it is the intricate part of risk taking in organization. Type A and Type B personality. Type A, always moving, walking rapidly, impotent, aggressive.
Impatient.
This includes, yes, ma'am. This includes that the aggressive, this indicates that the aggressive involvement in the organization process to achieve more and more objective. That means the type A personality is based on active participants towards the organization system. The type of personality is treated as positive personality. Type B. Type B personality indicates that individual who is relaxed and incomplete. He is not serious about the objective of organization to a great extent. This type of personality is really participating in an endless growing series of events in a decreasing amount of time. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to call my friend Shreyans.
Reyans, can you hear?
सॉरी मैम, अनम्यूट करना भूल गए थे। एक मिनट से स्टार्ट करें। Thank you, Gaurav. Now I will discuss the theory of personality. There are 4 types of personality of theory. First is psychoanalytic theory, second is type theory, third is state theory, and fourth is self theory. So I will discuss it one by one. First is psychoanalytic theory. The psychoanalytic theory is the personality theory which is based on the notion that an individual gets motivated more by unseen forces that are controlled by the conscious and the rational thought. Sigmund Freud is closely related to the psychoanalytic theory. According to him, the human behavior is formed through an interaction between 3 components of the mind, that is ID, ego, and superego. First, ID. ID is the primitive part of the mind that seeks immediate gratification of biological or instinctual needs. The biological needs are the basic physical needs, and while the instinctual needs are the natural or unlearned needs, such as hunger, thirst, etc. ID is the unconscious part of the mind that acts instantaneously without giving much thought to what it is right and what it is wrong. So example is, if your ID passed through a boy playing with a ball, the immediate urge to get that ball will drive you to snatch it by any means. This is irrational and may lead to the conflict between the boys. Thus, ID is the source of psychic energy, a force that is behind all the mental forces. Second one is superego. The superego is related to the social or the moral values that an individual inculcates as the mature. It acts as an ethical constraint on behavior and helps an individual to develop as the individual grows in the society. He learns the cultural values and the norms of the society, which help him to differentiate between right or wrong. Example is, if the superego passed that by playing with the ball, it would not snatch it, as it would know that snatching is bad and may lead to a quarrel. The superego acts as a constraint on your behavior and guides you to follow the right path. But if the ID is stronger, the superego, you will definitely snatch the ball by any means. Third is ego. Ego is the logical and the conscious part of the mind, which is associated with the reality principle. This means that it balances the demands of the ID and the superego in the context of real life situation. Ego is constant and hence keep a check on ID to a provisioning of an external environment. Example is, if you pass through the same boy playing with the ball, your ego will immediate the conflict between the ID and superego and will decide you buy a new ball for yourself. This may hurt your ID, but the ego would take the decision to reach to a compromise situation between the ID and superego by satisfying the desire of getting a ball without committing any unpleasant social behavior. The second theory is trait theory.
Hold on.
Some
ट्रेड थ्योरी से हम लोग कल करेंगे. We don't have time now.
Hello.
हाँ? Telling something?